Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Pam, your host, and I'm here with my wonderful co host, Anthony. Say hello, Anthony.
Hey, 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 everyone out there in podcast land.
Thank you. We want to make sure that you're here with us and we're not being ghosted. Not a good day for that to happen because today on Take Two Radio, we're hanging out with a rising voice in comedy and entertainment who's winning audiences over with her honesty, humor, confidence, and an apologetically real personality. Whether you know her from television, stand up, social media, or her outspoken conversations about mental health, self growth, and finding your voice, she continues to connect with people in a way that feels authentic and refreshing. She's funny, fearless, relatable, and carving out her own lane in Hollywood on her own terms. We're so excited to welcome actress, comedian, fashionista, and all around vibe, Mayan Lopez. Welcome, Mayan.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, everyone in podcast land. What an introduction.
Well, I think it about covers everything. I had
It
to add
does. I'm
in
like, I needed
fashionista.
the reminder, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, you're just all over doing everything, and we couldn't love that
Yeah.
more. So, first question is, how is your ankle?
Yeah, so it's so funny because when filming Lopez versus Lopez, like I think just being in improv and sketch and just being a ham as a kid, like I've been called a Muppet, and so I call it being like so of course like I'm clumsy and fall down the stairs. If anything, my ankle's fine. I'm actually now my mom went and got me a ankle at CVS, and that's being an only child at 30 years old that lives 3 blocks away from her mother. That's maybe the next sitcom. But um, no, it's fine. It's just really bruised. Something told me to take my heels off because I was going to a dinner and I didn't. And I fell down a whole flight, like a small flight
Oh,
of stairs. So
mm,
yesterday I went to 2 days ago, I went to the Stop That Train premiere because I am in the
mm.
new RuPaul movie. That is one fun thing that I am doing that comes out in theaters June 12th. So buy your tickets now because it's hilarious. So I was actually wearing, speaking of Muppets, like I have these shoes that look like Animal, the Muppet. And so I was wearing them underneath this beautiful gown that I wore when I judged All Stars 10 of RuPaul Drag
Um,
Race. But that was Bob the drag queen said it was like me being Dionne Warwick wearing
I
those
saw that
slides on the red
picture.
carpet. That he said that was my Dionne Warwick moment. And I was like, you know
You
what? I will own it. I was comfortable. I get
right?
it, Dion. I get it.
That was so good. I love that when I saw that picture.
And I was like, I'm
Well,
injured.
that is too funny. But it's not funny that you hurt yourself. So next time, listen to your gut when it says take those
See,
heels
listen to
off.
your gut. I feel like everyone is a little bit psychic. I like to go through that belief. We either just listen to that voice or we don't, or we
Right?
train it. But no, I think it's true. Like if you have, that gut feeling that everyone has, that's intuition. So listen to that gut feeling, everyone at home.
Absolutely. And I'm much older than you, and I still sometimes second guess that, and that's not a good thing. So sometimes you
Hmm.
just never learn, you know?
Think about, do I want to be like, don't pull a Mayan. Listen to your
Right? Yeah, there you go. That's going to
Well,
be my new saying when I walk around now,
so,
telling people that.
well, I don't
So
want a Mayan. So
yeah, as I touched on in your intro, you've built a really
mhm.
strong connection with your fans online. I mean, because here's me telling you, I see mostly everything you post because you're
Gotcha.
so interesting and I love seeing everything
Oh,
that you do. So, how or has there been a message or an interaction with a fan that truly stayed with you?
I think I've gotten some messages that I have, especially when Lopez versus Lopez was on the air in our first seasons. I think it was very difficult for me to I love the show, and I'm so glad that we got to do 3 seasons of it. I wish we did more, but one fan interaction was this woman messaged me on Instagram, and she said that her father had passed away and that they had not spoken for many years before, and she felt a lot of herself in the character Mayan, the same name as me, and
Mm.
that she felt that she got a lot of healing out of it because she felt like she was having those conversations with her dad through Mayan and George. And that's something that I've mentioned in countless interviews, but I think that was one where she thanked me for her own healing. And that was a new one. And that stood out to me for almost 3 or 4 years ago that I got that message. And I'll always remember that and all the messages that I've gotten from even men and mothers who have reached out to their sons. It didn't have to just be father daughter. It was, I reached out to my cousin. I reached out to, I'm like, everyone was just reconnecting with anybody, like, and I think that's
Yeah.
wonderful I feel very proud to feel like I made a good sitcom and I was able to do it with my dad, who's a titan in sitcom. And I was able to hold my own, which that is, yeah, and create a beautiful family and co-stars just like the original show, and they got to be on the show too, and that was so many beautiful beautiful moments I got to share in the last almost 5 years of my life, which is pretty crazy. It's been a whirlwind.
Pam, I'm actually going to switch things up a little bit. I was going to ask this a little bit later on in the conversation,
Hmm.
but we all love your dad. We all loved what you guys created together with Lopez Lopez. Um, 3 seasons, they were wonderful, but many of us could have had more. Are there
Yeah.
more stories that you wanted to tell? Are you satisfied with what was out? What was produced, and are there more stories you wanted to tell?
There are more stories I wanted to tell. I think there was definitely my character, we ended on my character being pregnant and about to get married. So,
Yep.
two
Mhm.
huge life events. We were not planning in our heads that, we kept putting off the wedding. And I was like, do you think we should keep putting on the wedding? And they're like, no, we'll like bait them into getting a fourth season. They didn't care. It was like, we're like, we'll get them with the wedding. We're like, nope. We'll
Maybe
just
a
never.
reboot miniseries at some point,
Maybe
and we get to meet the
exactly.
baby.
I'll just have to do it with
And
my kid, and that's just the Lopez. Because how much I even my mom said this the other day. She goes, "How dysfunctional or how much like is rich is our family that we, have had 2 shows about our dysfunction."
yep, coming from a big
So I
Italian
think,
family.
yeah. So I think exactly. So I think the stories would have been, Mayan having going through pregnancy and her and George not being around for her first pregnancy, so George being all nervous and seeing Mayan as you know a young woman and questioning that, but her already being. So I think there would have been a lot of fun things to do there with Chance, Bryce Gonzalez, who from the Enki Boys on TikTok, who's such a talented talent. That we had so many talented actors. Selena's Lebo's on Orange is the New Black, who played my mom, and her, maybe dating. And I think it would have been very hard to ignore the story, not trying to put a storyline in there of what is going on with Latinos in our country. I think that would be.
Yeah,
I think I would have loved to do a Lopez versus ICE episode, and it be and find a way to do it that doesn't feel attacked. That makes I would have tried to do it, and that makes it feel like it's in the middle for everybody. Um, but I think that I feel in a way, sadly, and maybe in Kamala's America, I still would have had a show. That's my joke that I that I say, because I think
Mm.
it would have been a very difficult battle for me as a creative to not to have to stifle that if I had to with studios. I don't know if I would have had to do that because that's an alternate reality. But now I just get to look forward and make new stories. I got plenty of material. That was just one show. I can't wait
yep.
Right.
to hopefully I'll not mess up my kid and we do the same thing. It doesn't become. I don't want it to be to be a generational thing.
No.
but but I think definitely from life, that is where I've gotten the best stories and the best material. Because I always like to say sometimes there's things that are just you can't write,
Yep.
you
No,
know.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
can't
It's
make
like,
this poop up. Yep.
No.
like I was
Or
going to say
even I've
too.
seen recently in an interview, Colin Jost was saying that him playing on SNL, that he was like, wouldn't it be funny if we wrote him saying the Bible verse from Pulp Fiction, but he would never do that in real life. You know, that's too crazy. And then months later, he actually did it and he was like, wow, see? You know, I didn't think that he would
Well,
do it. And that's
there
what,
you
you
go
know,
with the
some
psychic
things.
ability.
Hmm. So art imitates life. So, you know, I think just that's how I've gotten a lot. And I think that's how a lot of comedians, we all have a little bit of
Right.
darkness.
Yeah. Well, Hispanic culture brings a lot of humor and warmth and storytelling to entertainment. So,
Absolutely.
what's something about that culture you love seeing audiences connect with universally?
I think the element of family, I think that was
Hmm.
what we in on both shows, George Lopez and Lopez versus Lopez, was that the element of seeing of just humanity. And I think just also that our families, I think how Latin families are seen in television is a little bit more cutting and honest. And I think what even in with George on Lopez versus Lopez, I think they loved that he was a redeemable character, that, you know, he was going through alcoholism, but still wanting to be a good father and owning up to his mistakes. And Benny, who was played by Belita Moreno in the first show, you know,
Yeah.
they loved how mean Benny was because she was honest. And I think people would still come up to me and be like, "Oh, I'm like, you know, Benny, or my uncle's like this, or my is that," and it doesn't matter what color you are. It's stories and it's family and it's connection and it's emotions. And you know, it seems like a fact that everyone would remember and know, but they need to constantly be reminded. And I think the Latin family does that very well, of being warm and funny and honest and always centered around love and connection.
And I just want to say, I'm not Hispanic, but I relate to tons of stuff in both of those series. So
Hmm.
I get what you're saying there. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I wanna walk on that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead, Anthony.
I want to walk on that a little bit further. As someone who is, you know, the one of the faces of the new generation of Latino talent, I'm wondering how much responsibility do you feel to the community, and do you see changes? Do you feel that the changes are really coming at this point in the way stories are told around, you know, Hispanic families and Hispanic culture and all marginalized culture?
I think there is a lot of incredible Latino talent. I just don't. I think there's not just the opportunity yet. I think there have been many shows. I think like even the fact that our show, Lopez versus Lopez, was the only majorly Latino show on
Major,
network television,
yeah,
and the last one to do that was George Lopez. You know, there was 20 years in between
yep,
that,
Exactly.
of, you know, there was of course, you know, Sofia Vergara, Modern Family, you know,
Hmm.
countless, you know, characters, but for a majority Latino cast, um you know, there's been a lot of, but also, you know, Zoe Saldana just got the Oscar a couple of years ago. And there's, you know, there's so many people coming up. I think that there's just not there's more there needs to be more stories being told. And I think that it's hard for we're such a huge market, but we don't get the opportunity. I think also now in Hollywood, there's so many reboots now of, you know, Scrubs coming back, and it's harder for original content to make it through studios.
Very
I wouldn't even
true.
yeah.
know. I've been a lot in the writing and development. That's partly why I've gone to social media and doing stand up, and I'm looking for, you know, being a young person trying to find my way, because the system in Hollywood is rapidly changing. And from And I was able to see it from the inside in the past 5 years. And now I feel like I wouldn't even know what to pitch, NBC
Mhm.
now, but
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out. But
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see. It's something that I'm actively figuring out. I don't think it's lost, but I think it's
Yeah.
something that you have to think wide appeal always.
Right.
And the
Well, you
streaming
mentioned about,
services.
If I'm just being honest, everybody.
No,
yeah.
absolutely. And the streaming services seem to have done a little bit better of a job of it. I think back to the One Day of a at a Time reboot, which was
Hmm.
phenomenally done, and
It
some
was.
crossover as well. Yeah,
And Gloria Calderon Kellett, who created One Day at a, and was show ran behind that, she was telling me, I have 20 projects in all different stages of production, but I'm not on a set. It's very interesting right now. It's hard to see the loss of a Latino show, but I still see so many I see so many talent, and when I see someone doing something like I see Becky G,
mm,
Carol G at Coachella, and Benito, and Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, and you see how
Hmm.
much momentum comes from those moments. And I think sometimes I'm like, maybe I need to rewatch the Bad Bunny Super Bowl once a week to, you
yes,
know, I think so. I mean, that's like a type of therapy. It's like that's my
Yes.
prescription to everybody. I think we all just need to watch it once a week to kind of just, remind ourselves that it's out there, because I think with how
Yes.
crazy of a world it is, that can easily be forgotten, but it's
Oh,
still very
yes.
much there.
And see, I am a huge comedy person. Like, because the world is crazy or life is crazy or your family's crazy or whatever, you want to escape from that. So with Anthony and I, we escape to our soap operas. And then I pretty much only watch comedies. And I watch reruns of George Lopez every single day, along with Everybody Loves Raymond, The King of
Hmm.
Queens, and those types of shows, sitcoms like that. And I watch Happy's Place with Reba because, we love that cast and they're funny. And part of that cast is from the Reba show that used to be on. And so you
Hmm.
follow people like that. And anything Lopez related, I'm going to watch. I'm telling you right now. So whatever you put out there, I'm watching. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. We'll see. My dad always said that Lopez versus Lopez was going to be his last show, and it was tough when we were on set, and my dad doesn't mind me telling this because it was a very profound moment. Happy's Place got an episode order for more episodes, and we didn't, but they ordered scripts, but not and or so it was kind of like, well, we'll let you do this, but not that. We were like, okay. Um, and my dad just like looked down at the article, and we were before we were rehearsing a scene, and he was just like, what more do I have to do? As I'm like, I look at him, I was like, he's like, I have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Have an Emmy, I have a Grammy nominated, I've had this, and I still get second place, or I still,
yeah,
I what else do I have to achieve? And it was a moment that I really not only looked at him as a daughter, but I also looked at him as someone that I look up to, as someone has done so much for the Latino community.
yes.
It's like we were representing a community that still doesn't get, endless opportunities. And just to think like, oh, he's someone who broke down so many walls, still hitting
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
you know, like that there's
Yeah.
still a path, and but how much he did, I'm like, oh, okay, it's to me now, but it's a still sad, it's a very,
It
I don't
is.
even know, I don't
Yes.
know if it's sad, but it's just very,
Frustrating.
yeah,
Um,
like a
I,
little
I,
melancholy.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, before I move on to my next question, tell your dad
Hmm.
we love and adore him, and we are
yeah.
grateful for everything he's done for the
Oh yeah, no,
Latino
maybe
and
oh,
Hispanic
thank you.
community.
Yeah, we're actually gonna go see No Doubt together next week at the Sphere. So
Awesome.
we're still having great father-daughter opportunities with each other. I'm excited to do that with him, but I will definitely tell him that'll mean a lot. That'll mean a
Please,
lot to
please
him.
do. Please do.
He'll be like,
So,
ah, he'll be like, oh, thank you. Yeah.
or delay. Okay, so
Yeah, he'd
anyway.
be like, oh, he's like, they say that to everybody, huh? You know.
You're stepping into stand-up comedy soon. So,
I am,
what's
yes.
more terrifying or exciting, being like getting on the stage with a microphone and telling your own stories?
I think it's I think it's terrifying. I think it's terrifying for me. I'm not terrified. I think it's new and I think that's exciting. And I think it's that fear is I'm trying to have it be something that how I found it in improv and when I studied comedy at Second City because I used to live in Chicago and that's where I studied a lot of
Hey,
comedy was that
homie.
I use that as
I'm from
fuel. You
Chicago.
are from Chicago.
Yes.
Oh, see, I knew there was something I knew about you, Pam. That's what it is. Um, no, so I think I'm trying to not be afraid of, I've bombed many a time on stage, so I'm not super afraid of that. I think it's more, before even I settled this with Lopez. I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about my dad. It's something I've done so much with him in my career. It's now figuring out what I am because I've had quite a crazy life in my own way. How the show got started, Lopez versus Lopez, for those who don't know, it was the first television show to ever be inspired from a TikTok video that I made. But I made that video when I was in
Hmm.
a treatment center for my mental health in Texas. I went there when I was 24 years old. I also went when I was 17 after my parents' very public divorce. I was very suicidal and so sorry, trigger warning for listeners, but so especially being a mental health advocate, as you said in my intro, it's that's one thing that I've lived with over 100 like girls in my lifetime, so I've heard so many people's stories and life. One joke that I'm saying is that with people will say I'm a nepo baby doesn't mean I didn't go through hard stuff. I just went through hard stuff in a nice house, you know?
Yep.
Like, like, um, like I just had a debit card that wasn't checked very much, but a dad that wasn't home, I'm still figuring it out, clearly. But no, it's exciting and a new tool, and I'm a comedian, and I want to do all the aspects of comedy that I can.
I think it is incredibly wonderful that you speak as much as you do about your journey and struggles with mental health and putting it out there and letting people see, especially that you are thriving and you're about. I mean, one of the scariest places you can possibly step on is the comedy stage. So, major kudos. But let's take a
Yeah.
little turn in the road. Tell us a few things about Mayan that folks don't ask you about, that folks wouldn't know unless Pam and I drag it out of you.
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. What some things that people may not know about me.
Yeah,
I am
maybe
a
something you're passionate about.
I was a horse girl, and I still am a horse girl. I will say, it's so interesting. I don't get why, especially growing up with like boys saying that, oh, horseback riding wasn't a sport. I rode horses competitively for 15 years. Um, and I loved horses. And one thing I said and I realized in therapy was the barn was always a very, a place that I have so many memories, happy memories, with trauma. Sometimes trauma doesn't it can erase good and bad memories. I don't think people
Hmm.
Yeah.
realize is that,
Yes.
it doesn't, it'll just black things out. But I'll always remember things from the barn. And I realized, I'm like, why is that? And then I was like, oh, my dad's allergic to horses. So he was never.
You want to hear something funny? I'm allergic to horses too. So there we go.
So
I fit
yeah,
in your family.
you and George can watch me ride from the car.
Yes.
Like like
And
like
I
you
enjoyed
did.
writing for years. We're a mixed bag, aren't we?
So there you go.
Yeah, see, and so I would be like, those skills, buddy, as I've now grown into a young woman, have paid off, and I don't know why boys would always, be like, it's not a sport. I'm like,
Yes, it is.
I was like,
You
I'm
know, I
controlling a 1,500 pound animal with just my ankles, which now is
exactly.
hurt.
Right.
So if I wanted to ride, that's
I
something
played
that I always,
baseball.
I told Kaylee Cuoco this because and is that she has my dream career trajectory of being on a sitcom or many shows and being able to finance her own horseback riding because she
Ah.
has, horses and competes. And she was like, do it. And I'm like, I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
I played baseball for many years, and I would tell my teammates, we can practice for 7 hours. 2 hours on a horse will work your body 10 times harder than eight
Oh,
hours
yeah.
on the field.
Oh yeah, one time I was studying abroad in London, and which my mom is one of those. I think she loves to just find like excursions or extra, trips. My I call her Anne the man with a plan. She'll always have an itinerary and all these things. And she found this barn that you can rent a horse and ride around Windsor Castle for like two
Oh,
hours, which is beautiful. And then the day that I went, it was like, oh, it only happens like 4 days a year, and it happens to
Oh,
be
of
today that
course.
all these stags are, and it was like over 100, like these huge, beautiful stags that are like deer out of
Uh,
nowhere. And it was like
oh,
me and these bankers from London that I was like this, where I'm like, I was like, who knows how long it's been since they've seen a Mexican in London.
oh my
But
gosh.
but I was so sore after not writing the next day that my mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I had to lay down flat in the like it was where I'm like, "Oh, it's a skill I have, but it's definitely needs to warm up, or else I'm
Yeah,
dying."
flat on your back like the rest of us would be.
Mm-hmm. Dying
So,
and dead.
well, you know, as everybody can tell, you're a lot of fun to speak with and you're relatable. You have a great personality. But if fans spent a completely normal and casual day hanging out with you, what's one thing about your everyday life routine that would probably surprise them the most?
I think probably they'd be like, "It's been how long since you've washed that makeup brush?"
No,
You
no.
know? Or they'd be like, or they're like, "You put your curling iron where?" Because I'm
Oh,
like
no.
very ADD, and I'm like, "Hey, it's a system. It works. Like if I put it, doesn't have to be. It has to be on something metal, you know."
Oh my
They'd be like, "Mayan,
gosh.
what are you talking about?" Like
How many things
they
have you
found me very
burned?
confused with where I put things in my house. They'd be like, or they'd be like,
Uh,
"Where are there AirPods in your nice thing?" That's where they are. Oh, thank you. They'd be like, "What?"
so
Oh,
you're
I've been
pretty
looking for
much
that.
normal like the rest of us. Yeah.
I'm like, "Is that your passport?" No, my passport. No, my passport. My passport. I know where that is. I think that's.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we know that you've got a few projects coming up, and we do not unofficially give spoilers out ever. But can you spoil what might be coming up for us? What do you want folks to be on the lookout for?
Twist my arm, Anthony. Here we go. Um, so the newest thing that you guys can see me in, which you can buy tickets now, is for the new movie Stop That Train. starring RuPaul, directed by Adam Shankman. And it is I just saw it on Monday, and it is at the time of filming or at the time of recording this. Um, it is so hilarious, and it's a needed comedy right now. It's fun and it's just stupid and constant in the best way. It's the good stupid. Um, and I feel very honored to be a part of it. And there is just so many incredible comedians. Also, if you are in Los Angeles around June 10th, I am going to be in a production of Drunk Hamilton playing Angelica at the Typewriter Theater in on Sunset. That will
Awesome.
be, so I'm trying everything out. Mama's a free agent here. And I'm
Mhm.
just going to be trying to do stand up, but you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Mayan Lopez and see, like, Pam, what's going on?
Absolutely. And Pam also knows that you're an executive producer of the new supernatural film, The Evilry. So
Yes.
now you have to tell us what your experience was like, both in front of and behind the camera, and how does that help shape you creatively? Also, tell us what the
Well,
movie's about.
right. Well, like the Evilry is still in pre-production.
Hmm.
Um, so uh but we have Faye Dunaway, the incredible Faye Dunaway.
Number one
Um
Yes.
hangers.
and exactly, which I don't think I could
Oh,
ever say that in front of her, but will I say it now? No more wire
for
hangers
a long
ever.
gay, I would be saying it every 10 minutes.
Oh, exactly.
It's our iconic
I was like,
movie.
get me the axe. If it was no, but the movie, which it'll be filmed in West Virginia, it's very much a coming of age supernatural thriller, and it follows a young girl named Crystal who has a very mysterious cousin that arrives and overstays her welcome with a very dark secret, and it's very fun, and I feel very, very, very excited to be a part of it and seeing where it goes. And I hope that everyone gets to see it when it goes out. But you'll have to see at Mayan Lopez to find that out.
Yeah, I am, yeah, definitely going to watch it when it comes out. I don't mind supernatural. I just don't like gory.
I will
And
take
just
that
a
note and bring it.
yeah, and just a little bit of FYI about me and my daughter. She calls me mommy dearest, and I call her daughter dearest, but we do it in a lovingly way.
Oh yeah, no, my mom and I are the same.
Yeah.
I will tell you, my partner and
Um,
I are very excited to see you on screen with Rue again. I grew up in New York City, so I've had the opportunity to interact a few times. And oh my God, what a personality that had to have been, and extremely fun time to shoot.
Actually, like even as of this morning, like I just saw that I'm in a picture with RuPaul at the New York Times dancing on the dance floor, and I have the biggest fangirl face of all time where I do not
uh,
know. I look like, oh my God.
that is so
I'm like,
cool.
you
I'm
know
gonna
what?
have to look.
I look at that picture and I'm like, that's me. That's like, of course, that's anybody that would be that close to RuPaul. I have that reaction. I would be freaking out. I've met her plenty of many of times, and I still freak out, and I still pinch myself that I am a part of this world, and and Rue, in this movie, Anthony, you're gonna die. You're
Awesome.
gonna die laughing. I can't wait because he's so funny. The jokes are he's so funny. President
Yeah,
Gagwell is
yeah.
his
I mean,
name.
and the delivery, like back when I could see the facial structures and the
Yes.
cocking of the hip and the dripping in the voice. It's just amazing. Well. as we come to a close for this interview, you have been really, really candid and raw and honest with us, and that is how we love it. Um, it is definitely, as you alluded to before, a little bit darker in our world than it was 10 years ago. What do you say to the little Latinas out there? What do you say to all of those who are watching you and championing that, you are outspoken about your mental health and putting goodness into the world? If they're feeling discouraged, what do you say to them?
I would say to them that the world may be very scary, but there's a lot of people that are scared, and there's a lot of arms out there to catch you and to support you. And I think there is so much hope. I look at what Becky G is doing, and I look at and I know her, and I tell her this. I just saw her last week at an event, and I tell her, I look at you like I look at myself looking at a little girl. I get just as inspired watching you as I would have as a little girl. And so I would say to any little girl that thinks that they need, or any little boy, or any little he, she, they, whatever, that your voice matters, and that don't try to be like everybody else, because the people that get to be in the sun are the ones that get to really be themselves and their own voice. And I think we forget that sometimes, is that we try to be, if we do the same thing, that will rise to the surface, but no, we'll get lost. You have to make big and be brave moves, and there's no lesson, there's only lessons in failure, and don't be afraid to fail. Just be afraid of not having fun anymore, and not finding the fun in things. Be afraid of losing that spark and that curiosity, and just keep going and finding your things that make you laugh in this world, because there will be someone out there that needs what you have to say.
Wow, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
was
don't
fighting
think
it as I
much
went,
more
but
needs to be said. That was great advice.
oh, good. I need it for myself too, I think a little bit. It's like, even I'm like, things are uncertain, but I'm like, also, I'm like, we've all survived 100% of our worst days. I know that I've gone through
Hmm.
hard things, and I've reinvented myself. I know I can do it. I just sometimes
Hmm.
need to, pout a little bit, but I will get through it. And we could all need to pout sometimes. And we all need to have a couple, like,
Yeah.
woe is me, and give each other a hug. And that's okay. And that's human. But just don't try to stay in
Absolutely.
that place for too long. I
Absolutely.
know, and I know enough where I've stayed in those places too long, and I'm like, well, all right, nope, I'm getting kicked out. Okay, you know,
Well, just come to Chicago and I'll give you a hug.
yes,
I got you
I
down here in
needed that.
Miami.
Oh, perfect.
We'll give you the little
Places
chuck
to
at the
visit.
chin and the pat on the back, and we'll
Two
send you
places
on
I've been
your
wanting to
way in
visit
great
anyway.
spirits. Pardon?
Oh, thank you. Two places I've been wanting to go anyway. So
Well, you're more than welcome. Wherever you do an event
perfect.
here, I'm going to show up and say, hey, I
Oh,
swear I'm not a
wonderful.
stalker. I promise I'm not a stalker. I'm
No, honey, you're a friend.
yeah. I mean, I'm a homie. Let's put it that way. I'm a Chicago homie. So
Yes.
there we go.
Well, I will tell you, my partner is from Honduras and I am an Italian through and through. So if you come through Miami, we will feed you
Oh, honey, that's a
incredibly.
fun combo. Oh, yes.
So do us a favor, give us your socials again. Spell it for our blind and low vision audience if you don't mind.
Yes.
Where can we find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Mayan Lopez, MayanLopez. My first name is Mayan, MayanLopez, on TikTok and Instagram. That's usually where I am.
Well, thank you.
That's That's wonderful. And also for our listeners, make sure you buy those tickets for Stop
Yes, stop
That
that
Train
train.
Train.
on June 12th when it debuts. We expect to see everybody there.
Yes,
And
please,
you can,
especially since this is from an independent media company, and they do not have a
oh,
lot of money for
yes.
marketing, and so it is really important, you guys, to show up. because
Yes.
this is, not from, Sony, or it's
Yeah.
breaking out. We need to
Yeah.
support like independent media.
We strongly support that. Anthony and I have interviewed quite a few people from independent movies, or actors that have been in there, or directors, or someone that wrote it, or whatever the case might be, and indie bands.
Yep.
We support comedians. We have a separate
Hmm.
channel for comedians and indie bands and stuff like that. So we're behind you,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
of you.
thank you.
So
Thank you
thank you so
so
much.
much.
Thank
Yes.
you guys so much.
And we
Thank you for
had a
listening,
blast.
everyone.
Yes. Please come back when you have any new projects you'd like to talk about.
Oh, I
And
absolutely
we
will.
are here for you. Take
Absolutely.
care.
Oh, thank you. Take care to you both.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
Bye,
stay
everyone.
tuned for all of our socials where you can contact us, and we'll be back with another great interview in your feeds soon. Have a great one, everyone.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Take Two Radio. That's with the number 2. For Take Two Radio The Remix, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Take Two Radio The Remix, again with the number 2. For all things Anthony and Sunday Edition, go to anthonycorona.com, and that's CORONA. Until next time, thanks for listening.